I am Billy Eichner, and welcome to GLAAD's Together in Pride. You are not alone. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but that's the title everyone decided on. We are here for three important reasons: to connect with each other as we stay at home safely, I hope, especially with our LGBTQ youth, for whom home may not be a safe place, and to take precautions when we're not at home. We're here to focus on our community specifically and the way COVID-19 specifically affects us. And we are here, of course, to raise money and awareness for Centerlink. During the epidemic, LGBT community centers are still providing critical services such as medical care, mental health counseling, virtual support groups, filling prescriptions, providing hot meals, and check-in phone calls for older LGBTQ adults. They serve as shelters for homeless youth, and they do HIV testing, and they host virtual engagement activities to decrease social isolation. I can't speak. I sound like Liza Minnelli. Social isolation. Of course, we're not only here to raise money tonight, we're here to experience all the glamour of Zoom. Tonight, we're going to talk with, yes, some of your favorite actors and celebrities and entertainers, some of your favorite LGBTQ personalities, and also a handful of women, straight women, and my personal favorite genre, middle-aged actresses. And we're gonna talk about what we're doing to keep ourselves and others safe during the pandemic, and take the opportunity to talk, to post, sharing what we're all going through together and raising money and having some fun. All right, let's get to it. I am not hosting this alone. I know you're very grateful for that. Please welcome my co-host, Lilly Singh. Hi, Lilly.
Oh, are we recording? Oh, hi. Hey, everyone. Lilly here. Thank you so much for joining. I tried my best. Happy Sunday. We're going to have a great time together. This is a GLAAD Together in Pride. I want to second the love and pride I feel for everyone in the community right now, especially the LGBTQ plus youth. You are not alone. You are loved. You belong. We are in this together. I truly do feel so much pride. We want to thank the organization that put this whole live stream together to benefit Centerlink. And I'm talking about cue graphics. Here we go. Da-da! GLAAD! Look at all the things I did. GLAAD fights for 100% LGBTQ plus acceptance as a watchdog by sharing stories in media, taking action in every way. I'm talking socially, politically, culturally. They're really out here doing it all. Today, we are benefiting Centerlink, and I know you're saying, what's Centerlink? Let me tell you, it is a coalition of more than 250 LGBTQ plus community centers, which serve over 2 million people each year. That is a lot of people, and you are able to donate. There's a button somewhere on the screen, technology, where you can donate while we're here expressing ourselves, our joys, our concerns, our pride. Let's also remember, I just have to say, minor detail, this is an election year, y'all. Okay, we need to take action, not just about what's happening right now, but also in regards to the decimation of our community's rights. Now is the time to get involved. So go to glaad.org/action to get involved. So happy you're here hanging out with us. More on that soon, but first, let's give it up for GLAAD's president and CEO, Sarah K. Ellis, to tell you all about all the things.
Thanks, Lilly. And thank you all for joining tonight. GLAAD wanted to bring the community together tonight at this very challenging time to raise money and awareness for Centerlink. Centerlink is a coalition of more than 250 local LGBTQ centers. The network serves over 2 million people every year. From providing HIV testing to housing homeless youth to hosting social groups, local LGBTQ centers are the foundation of our community. There's another reason we're here tonight. During this time, what's most urgent and perhaps most painful for so many of us is the fact that some LGBTQ people, especially our youth, are being forced to isolate in homes that are not welcoming or affirming. Isolation can be dangerous for LGBTQ people, and GLAAD wanted to do what we do best: bring people together, bring our community together to find strength and power in our unity. These weeks have been hard, and this year Pride will look different. But LGBTQ Pride cannot be canceled. And tonight, We're here to tell LGBTQ people that you are not alone. LGBTQ community organizers are in desperate need of funding right now. Thankfully, we are a community of givers, and we are grateful to so many for supporting, performing, and sharing their talent and reflections amid the chaos of the coronavirus. I also wanted to take a moment to say I'm so grateful and thankful for the doctors and medical workers, first responders and the grocery store workers, delivery people, mail carriers, transit workers, pharmacists, and all the essential workers who are putting their lives on the line today to help us. It was both startling and comforting to listen to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo just a few weeks ago. Our community, of course, inspired him to uplift the citizens as he spoke to fearful citizens. And he said, and I quote, "At the end of the day, my friends, even if it's a long day, and this is a long day, love wins." We know that as a community. Love always wins, and it will win again against this virus. Thank you for joining us.
Hey everybody, Billy Porter here. I know this is a really scary time for everyone, and it can be especially isolating for queer people who are away from their chosen families and support systems. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, so many of the smaller local LGBTQ centers and organizations that embrace and support the queer community are in danger of closing. But tonight, we are coming together to try to stop that from happening. I am so happy to be working with GLAAD for Together in Pride. You are not alone. These centers help queer kids find jobs, housing, food, and so much more. I know times are tough, but I really hope that you can just give just a little to support our mission tonight. Every little bit matters. It's easy. Click the donate button and give whatever you can. Thank you so much, and God bless.
This is very exciting. He's a friend of mine. You know him. You love him. He is the star and creator and producer and writer of what became a phenomenon, Schitt's Creek, which just aired its final season on Pop, and I'm sure will be hitting Netflix very soon. Schitt's Creek, what can you say? It normalized, it celebrated, it centered LGBTQ relationships, pansexuality, and adult men wearing shorts. Please welcome my friend and yours, Dan Levy. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Billy. What a lovely, warm intro. I feel so welcome here.
Who I do want to celebrate is you, my friend. Congratulations on Schitt's Creek. Just what happened? It's had such an amazing trajectory. Here's when you know you have a hit that goes beyond some sort of niche LGBTQ audience. And we love and appreciate and want our LGBTQ people to love our shows. We don't get many shows about us. And yet, you can't really get to that next level, if we're being honest, if the show doesn't go beyond that audience to a certain degree. So it goes to Netflix.
Yes.
When do you start feeling your world changing?
I mean, it's funny for us because I think when you start off really small, you don't ever assume that you're any bigger than when you started. So, and especially if you're Canadian, I think there's just an inherent sense of no, please. So,
right.
You know, for me, it's been a thrill to watch our cast, like the Clampets just get thrown onto a carpet at the Emmys and watch us all kind of wander around like a bunch of, idiots, not knowing who and why and what.
You're changing the world. You're changing the industry. And I know, as someone who has fought those battles within the industry for quite a few years now, it ain't easy. Your mom sent out a tweet which went viral. I just want to read this quote that she wrote about you because it pertains to exactly what we're doing tonight. "Today, I regret every single second of worry back in the uninformed 80s, wondering how the world was going to treat my brilliant little boy who loved to twirl. Little did I know that he was going to kick that old world's ass to the curb and create a brand new one." Very touching. And I wanted to get your thoughts. There are lots of young LGBTQ kids and teenagers who are stuck at home right now. Some of those homes are safe places for them to be. Some of them aren't. For anyone watching out there, kids or parents, what is your message out there for those kids or those parents?
Well, looking back on my own experience, I think I had a lot of loneliness. I felt like I was alone through a lot of my teens and early 20s. Even back then, even in the early 2000s, we didn't have the same kind of resources that we have now. Hotlines that you can call, websites, things like this where you can tune in and be comforted by other people in your community talking about their own success stories and hoping to inspire success in other people. I mean, I think for me, support is the biggest, most crucial part of staying kind of afloat through the journey of navigating your sexuality and what it means to you and how it defines you and what it does in terms of inspiring the work that you do. Finding friends, family. If your family is not supportive, hopefully they can learn and change, but you do have other resources. I think that's what Trevor Project has been so invaluable in terms of being a companion to people when they feel like they don't have anybody else. But just the general understanding that you should never be going through a process by yourself. That even if it's calling a friend, you are never going to be a burden to someone if you're just talking about something that's a problem in your life or something that's hindering your growth, because people are around to help. And whether it's not a friend or a family member, if you don't have that kind of support, then there are professionals who would love to keep you company, to support you through your growth and understanding who and what you want to be. That's probably the biggest thing that I would say is a huge sort of crucial part of just coming out of this in a way that, hopefully we'll see success and growth and independence.
Very wise words. And that's exactly why we're here tonight. And one of those resources that are so important for LGBTQ young people are those community centers, which Centerlink helps. So please, if you love Dan Levy, if you love Schitt's Creek, please donate, give whatever you can. It is so, so needed right now. Dan Levy, congratulations on everything. Thank you. I'll continue following your Insta stories where you're cooking in such a wide variety of knit caps. And hopefully I'll see you in person soon.
Yes, please.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Lift up your head, wash off your mascara. Here, take my Kleenex, wipe that lipstick away. Show me your face, clean as the morning. I know things were bad, but now they're okay. Suddenly Seymour is standing beside you. You don't need no makeup, don't have to pretend. Suddenly Seymour is here to provide you sweet understanding. Seymour's your
Nobody ever treated me kindly. Daddy left early, Mama was poor. I meet a man and I follow him blindly. He'd snap his fingers, me I say sure. Suddenly Seymour is standing beside me. He don't give me orders, he don't condescend. Suddenly Seymour is here to provide me with sweet understanding. Seymour's my friend.
Tell me this feeling lasts till forever. Tell me the bad times are clean washed away.
Please understand that it's still strange and frightening for losers like I've been. It's so hard to say. Suddenly Seymour,
Suddenly Seymour,
he purified me.
he purified you.
Suddenly
understanding.
Sweet understanding.
With sweet understanding.
With sweet
understanding. See what's your
Once again, we are very excited to have our next guests. You might know them from being on the cover of Time magazine or making a historic run for president and first gentleman over the past year. Please welcome, we're very honored to have them, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Chasten Buttigieg. Hi, boys.
Hello.
Hey, great seeing you.
I met you early on. I don't know, was that like January or February of last year, before before the world really got to know you, and it's been quite a whirlwind, to say the least. What are you talking about in terms of planning for this summer? How are we going to campaign in spite of perhaps not being able to do the things we would normally do?
This is not the first time that there's had to be a big change in campaigning. It is the first time that it's had to happen so fast, and that's why it's so important for us to use digital tools and personal relationships, real-life relationships that may have to happen over long distance, calling or texting or mobilizing in a different way than before, that we can't get together physically, but still absolutely critical that we reach out and motivate one another to vote, because our rights are up for debate.
Now, I'm at an age a couple of years older than you, where I'm perched right between that generation that can't believe you even exist and are so proud and excited to see your success, and a much younger LGBT generation who don't feel that same sense of connection to you simply because you're gay. And I'm wondering, coming out of it now and having some hindsight on that, what your feelings were during it. Were you hurt? Were you surprised? And how do you plan on moving forward with that community of younger LGBTQIA people who have some pretty intense issues with you?
Well, I think our community, our LGBTQIA plus community, is going through that generational experience. And I saw and was so moved by that same thing you're talking about, where people, especially of an older generation, sometimes they come up to me, they couldn't form words, but they would tear up and I'd know kind of what it was they were saying. It was very humbling to hear that they were moved to think about my candidacy in the context of that struggle, because that's a struggle I don't even fully understand, right? I mean, to even be able to do this, for Chasten and me to be married, certainly for me to be an out candidate, we're standing on their shoulders. And so there was something so powerful about that. And as for the negativity, I mean, part of that's how social media works. Part of that comes along with politics. And I wonder if for some people it was empowering, as a group that's still so close to the edge in terms of marginalization, to frankly feel empowered to be queer and to not vote for, there's one generation that's just astonished there could even be a candidate, the freedom to vote for a candidate who's queer.
Right.
I think for some others, it might have felt empowering to be able to be queer and not vote for a candidate who's queer. So on some level, I get that. I just hope that people can have whatever their political views are and not be mean. I just don't, believe that we need to add any more meanness to the world.
And I think young people, across the board in this country are just so fed up with power and Washington and politics who have continuously failed them. And I remember when I came out growing up in Northern Michigan, I ran away from home and I absolutely felt like nobody understood me. And I would visit these LGBTQ centers. And I will never forget one of these centers I went to, and I sat down with a group of young trans people, and they would be like, you don't get my story. And I would say, like, that's exactly why I'm here, because it's time that we bring your story to Washington, that you have leaders in Washington who believe in you and who see you. And so I think a large part of leadership is just showing up and shutting up. Because I remember being 17, sleeping in the back of my car, feeling like nobody believed in me. There was never going to be a future for me. And there are still, over 40% of homeless youth in this country are LGBTQ. And that was so important for us to just go out there and do the work and listen. So they actually saw leaders who are committed to telling their story and showing up for them.
Can you talk to all our viewers out there, young and old, anyone watching tonight, about the importance of voting this year?
It couldn't be more important. Look, if you care about the climate, if you care about wages, if you care about rights for our community, if you care about what's going to happen on the courts, if you care about each other, this is even more than ever the time to vote.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you both. I found your journey over the past year and a half to be so unexpected, something I didn't think I would see at this point. Very inspiring, and I look forward to see what both of you guys are doing next. Thank you very much, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us through, and thanks for what we're all part of. This is really important.
Okay, we made it, outfit one. I am so excited because right now I'm here with an LGBTQ power couple, y'all, who have the charming YouTube channel, The Kitchen Sink. Hello, Sean Hayes and Scott Eisner. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Lily.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
How are you doing? Is everyone safe, healthy? You look great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, our glam squad just left too.
I only steam the front of my blazer, so I can never turn around. But I'm so excited that you're here. I want to dive right in because I'm such a fan, genuinely and truly. Sean, the finale of A Will and Grace just aired on Thursday. How are you feeling? Was it hard to say goodbye?
Yeah, it was a little more intense the second time just because I think the headline of the whole emotional thing can be summed up in one word, and that's gratitude. Mm-hmm. So, not that I wasn't grateful for the gig, 85 years ago, but the second time that it came around, it was just, it was just a little older, a little, hopefully knock on wood, wiser. And we just appreciated everything and appreciated the fans that they wanted us to come back and do it. So it was very, very sad leaving Final for sure leaving this time. And Scotty did the music for this show.
Oh, what incredible.
So that was kind of fun and new and exciting for me. And having, watched the show as a monumental fan in the 90s and early 2000s, while I was a single gay man living in New York, these were my friends. And then who knew that our paths would cross, and then, oh, by the way, the show would come back, and then I would get to be a part of that show. That meant so much to me.
Crazy times.
I think, right now the world, and the reason we're doing this stream as well, is people are really stressed out. People are feeling bummed out. I don't know if you can relate. I feel anxious. I feel sad. This is a hard time, and I'm a big believer in the power of comedy and the healing power. Can you speak to that a little bit? Do you feel there is power in storytelling and comedy?
Yeah, it's always that fine line, right? Because there are people who are suffering, and we want to help those as much as we possibly can through donations or being there or making meals or delivering meals for the people on the front line, or even just neighbors in the neighborhood who are suffering from it, whatever you can do. And some of those people have reached out and said, we need comedy. So it's a very fine line with the people who want it and expect it and think that it's not the right time. So, but I think that's what we do for a living, and that's sometimes the only service we can provide, and happy to do that if we can, if whoever finds us funny.
Now, I also know you've been reading your book, Plum, to kids. You've been teaching them ballet. I wanted to ask if you had any message specifically to LGBTQ plus families and kids, because inevitably this pandemic is closing a lot of centers that are resources for these family and kids. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, well, COVID-19 is a threat to closing a lot of these places, these LGBTQ community places where everybody gathers, and it's such a haven for the youth of America, the LGBTQ youth of America, to go and feel safe and get fed, and a million things they provide for the youth of America. And so we are donating to Centerlink, the organization Centerlink, that helps fund these LGBTQ centers all around America, so that they don't close, that they stay open to help all these people in need, because there are so many LGBTQ youth that need them and depend on them.
And also, if you're an LGBTQ youth, you can actually not feel alone. You know, these centers provide virtual counseling and a virtual friend if you need. You know, a lot of these centers were great havens for the youth if they were, say, kicked out of their homes or whatever, didn't have a safe environment to live in. The centers provided those. And so if they're closing, a lot of these kids might be going back to those unsafe homes, and their options for friends and people they trust are now fewer and far between. So thankfully there's so many great programs, and during all of this, with everything shutting down, you know, you have a virtual outlet to reach out to people.
So if you can, give like we are to Centerlink.
And that's what this is all about, letting you know that you are not alone in supporting those who are in need. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much, Sean and Scott, for inspiring us, bringing the funny, bringing the joy. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy, and we'll chat soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lily.
Thanks, Lily.
I recommend getting your heart trampled on to anyone. Yeah. I recommend walking around naked in your living room. Yeah. Swallow it down.
What a jagged little pill.
It feels so good.
Swimming in your stomach. Wait until the dust settles.
You live, you learn, you love, you learn, you cry, you learn, you lose, you learn, you bleed, you learn, you scream, you learn.
Hi, I'm Rosie O'Donnell, and we're going to head over to Cleveland to chat about the organization who really needs our help tonight. We're doing great things over there. Phyllis Harris is the event director of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community sector of Greater Cleveland. How you doing, Phyllis?
I'm doing great.
How's the pandemic equating what you used to do? I mean, and the centers are shut, correct?
Yep, the centers are shut. We closed our doors on March 16th, and a lot of other centers across the nation, paid attention to what their CDC, their governors were saying, and shut their doors.
How is it affecting the youth there? Is it hitting them the hardest, would you say?
What we found is the youth who come to our physical location more regularly, so consistently, we had a hard time connecting with them. So what we found when we took our programming, our program is called QU, when we took it to a virtual opportunities for drop-in and chat and check-ins, we were getting new youth that we hadn't, who hadn't come to our physical location, a lot more than. And then it took a couple weeks until those youth who use the center as a safe place, as a refuge, to be able to check in with us. And they just keep saying, I can't wait to be able to come back to the center.
Right, what about fundraising? It's really gonna be a tough time.
Yeah, and we're finding, we have a community of individuals who care about us. Our jobs during this time is to stay visible and to say, look at the statistics, look at the data, look at health disparities in LGBTQ folks. And so those who are on the other side of supporting by way of donating or working with foundations, they need to see that we are among all those individuals, that they're serving, or that they want to support, but we have our unique challenges. And so being visible allows us to continue to fundraise and be a part of the nationwide effort in keeping things going and supporting folks. And so we're doing our very best to do that through connecting with Centerlink, who gives us daily briefs with opportunities for funding and learning about the payroll protection programs. Many of our, LGBT centers are nonprofit organizations, and so there is, a big push, in terms of policy to make sure that we are included as nonprofits. And so we're working really hard. There's a lot going on, and staying visible and being vocal and having opportunities to tell our stories is ever important. It is time to act up. We know how to do this.
Yes, we do. We've been through a plague before.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all your work, your hard dedication and your hard work at bringing our communities together. I know it's different for each part of the country, and how you get through it, will be a testament to all the hard workers out there trying to keep their nonprofits open.
Yeah, we're in it together. We're here in Cleveland doing our thing, and if you need some help, reach out.
All right. Thank you so much, Phyllis.
Thank you. This is awesome.
I'm so excited right now to be talking to my next friend, who I'm virtually meeting for the first time. You know and love him from Netflix's Queer Eye, which, by the way, is great binging material during quarantine. I'm just saying, okay? Not only does he have a best-selling book called Over the Top, a recently released children's book about a guinea pig who becomes a gymnast. Goals, just saying. Came out as non-binary last year and opened up about living with HIV. New York Times, been all around a star, killing it with his pandemic selfies. Please give it for Jonathan Ness!
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm gonna be honest, before this pandemic, I think we all thought you were gonna be the next Adam Rippon. I mean, let's just be real. But how has isolation changed your workout routine, if it has?
I did impulse internet buy a gymnastics tumble track, so I can do a little bit of flipping in the yard, which has been really clutch. But I also kind of was good about I had some resistance bands and a jump rope, so I've just been really doing that. But can we just talk about something really quick, not to commandeer, but I am just seeing this ring light in the mirror or in the window, and I accept it. That is what our truth is now. It's
we are embracing ourselves and our homes and where we are.
Yeah, thank you for all the work you've been doing.
Something I struggle with, and I think people at home might relate as well, is, while we're staying at home, I rarely change my clothes. This gave me the opportunity to change my clothes, but I'm feeling a little bit like a sloth. I'm not really presentable throughout the days, because where am I going? It doesn't matter. What are some styling or grooming tips for people staying at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great question. And it also raises an interesting point, right? It's like not so much about how we're presenting and how we're looking, it's about how we're feeling. So, and also it's like, how can we do that in like a cost-effective way where we're not, spending a bunch of money on stuff that, hard to come by, hard to get. So I think it's like, how can we incorporate yoga? How can we incorporate maybe a bath? Just get creative with what you have. This is unprecedented. Like we are in a situation that is, when you say it out loud, like we're in a respiratory pandemic, like it's something we've never said before. And so it's like, I think it's okay to kind of take a little off the fastball. And it's okay if you're feeling like you don't want to change your clothes all the time,
I love that you said that because that's absolutely correct. I think it is about how we are feeling. Whatever makes you feel calm during this time is what you should do. And if that means sweatpants with a blazer like me right now, great. And if it means something else, then absolutely correct. I love that. I just am in awe of you because figure skater, grooming expert, children's author, what can you not do? Tell us about your new children's book, Peanut Goes for the Gold.
It's inspired by my childhood guinea pig, whose name was Peanut. I realized that, like, where was like the Dr. Seuss, like green eggs and ham moment for the gymnastics obsessed child that also wanted to wear like tights and like bedazzled glittery heels? Which was so me.
Last year you opened up about living and not only living, but thriving with HIV. How can we break down the stigma facing people living with HIV?
The more that we can talk about it and the more that we can be visible, I think that really helps. Undetectable equals untransmittable. So when you are HIV positive, but you're undetectable, you are not at risk of transmitting the virus. We know that for people who are HIV positive, when you're undetectable, it's better for our systems, it's better for your health. So PrEP is essentially a pill that an HIV negative person can take every day. It's 99% effective at keeping you HIV negative if you're having unprotected sex. The more widespread access to PrEP has made huge strides in new HIV infections. Coronavirus has threatened that, and also this administration's constant assault on Planned Parenthood has also affected that. Biden wants to increase the Affordable Care Act. He wants to increase resources. He wants to increase support. He wants to increase funding. He wants to make it easier for people to get access to these medications. Whereas Trump wants to make it so much harder.
Honestly, a through line here also is vote. I want to wrap this up with a very important question, and that is, the Trevor Project did note that calls to their hotline from LGBTQ plus youth needing help and support have doubled during this time. GLAAD also shared that trans and non-binary youth are particularly at risk of isolation, and they do need our support during this epidemic. So what is your message to non-binary and trans youth? What can you say to them?
Look for stealthy places to thrive. Like if your family is unaccepting and in your self-isolation place is not accepting, you have to create those spaces. So it's like, even if you share a room with someone in your family who's not accepting, or your dad's always around, or there's someone who's not accepting, it's like, I'm going to take a walk for 10 minutes. And also rely on the Trevor Project. Use the phone if you have access to it. Use your computer or internet if you have access to it.
I think you're so inspirational, so well-spoken, and so educational for me, and I'm sure for so many people at home. So thank you so much, JB, and you are the best. Thank you for making the time.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Hi. This is a very serious time for everyone, including the LGBT community. And now that everyone can't get out and see the support groups and see everyone that they usually do, it's very important that we all support each other in every way that they can. So I want to say that I'm very happy that this event, Together in Pride, You Are Not Alone, is happening. And I want to support GLAAD and all that it's doing to make this event happen. So let's just think about this LGBT community. This community is getting more alphabets than any other community on the planet as it grows exponentially and more people are included until there's just an inclusiveness that will basically include every single person on the planet. So should we just open our hearts and give to each other, give to support each other, give to be inclusive, give so that this event, Together in Pride, You Are Not Alone, can go on. Think of all the events we've done over these years to help everybody to help everybody get through every crisis. Let's get through this one together and know that I'm sending you a lot of love from my home to yours. Thanks a lot.
This is a real treat for me. Everyone knows how much I love and appreciate and cherish our greatest actors. And when I say actors, I mean actresses. And we have one of our greatest actresses here with us today. She has been one of our greatest allies as well. There's so much to talk to her about. Please welcome an Academy Award winner, a Tony Award winner. I love her so much. Please welcome the fabulous Marcia Gay Harden. How are you, Marcia?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for being here. I have so much I want to ask you about. We're seeing now, finally, a real wave, an avalanche of movies and TV shows about the LGBTQ experience, especially about those peak years of the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and 90s. But unlike all the shows we're seeing now, you were doing Angels in America at the same time that was all going on in New York City, which I imagine was such a complicated, wonderful experience. What was that like to be in the original cast of Angels in America, especially at that time?
It was like, okay, mission accomplished. You know, like very, very rarely as an actor do you get to be in something and then you go, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like every single part of the world is in this moment for me right now. And it makes you feel so alive. So it was really amazing, just to answer your question, but also there'd be like, because it was right in that moment that there were so many people who were sick. The audience would be full of people who were sick, and they would sometimes stand up and shout at the characters during the play, like when Pryor has unprotected sex. Oh, actually, it's Joe Mantello's character and Stephen. He's playing someone in the park, but they have unprotected sex. The men would stand up and go, "No, don't!" And then later, I was living in the West Village, and people would come up and they would say, "I just want you to know, I saw you in that play, and I brought my parents. And when it was done, I told them that I was dying, or I told them that I was gay, or whatever." And so it was this moment that from Tony and George Wolfe, really, because they cast me, that you got to be the most intimate part of someone's life and illuminate something and illuminate like the beauty of their spirit and the beauty of what Tony was trying to say.
I just got chills. That is an incredible story. That's just one of the many ways that you have been inextricably linked to the LGBTQIA community for your entire career. And of course, you also have a very personal connection to the LGBTQ community. Your wonderful son, Hudson, is gay, I believe.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud, as it should be. And you have been something that is so important, something that we need, which is this very vocal, visible parent. Can you talk about how you reacted when Hudson came out, and any advice you have for young people who might be watching, who might be in a home or a community they don't feel entirely safe in right now, and yet they're really not allowed to leave? So any advice you could give or any thoughts would be so appreciated.
Yeah, that's so hard for those kids and people, and my heart goes out to them. And if you're not physically safe, you have to make sure that you're safe. That's the first thing. And so sometimes people do have to hide who they are. I never wanted that for my kids, and I took my cues from him. He was the only one in his grade who was out, and so I thought that's really pretty brave. And of course, you're still afraid that you're going to go through stuff with your parents. But I think if kids, my thing is always, if you can have a conversation, even if you're scared, do, if you can, and you might be surprised, and that might be difficult for a while, but also people come around. I guess I just want to reach out to those kids who can't be in a dress and be like, first of all, COVID's going to be over, and then you can be fabulous again. But also, gay isn't just about being fabulous, right? It's not just about being in drag and all that. It's just about being who you are. And my big thing is, you are enough. Please donate. That's why we're here. Every little bit helps. And so the cool thing about the CenturyLink is that it also helps decide where the money goes and kind of spreads it out. So people donating tonight are giving to a lot of different communities,
Exactly.
communities they don't know about.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope I get to see you in person sometime. Stay safe, stay healthy. Tell Hudson we love him too, and we'll see you soon.
All right, God bless.
Bye, Marcia Gay.
Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Wilson Cruz. And tonight we're going to be hearing directly from LGBT community center leaders all over the country who are in desperate need of our help due to COVID-19. We're going to head over to Texas, where we're going to be meeting Robert Saucedo, who is the executive director of the Pride Center of San Antonio. Hey Robert, how are you?
I am doing great. I'm excited to be here tonight.
We're excited to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization and how you are supporting LGBTQ people?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have the privilege of being the executive director for Pride Center San Antonio. We are a small nonprofit organization that really at the core of it offers a safe space for our LGBTQ community. We operate a walk-in community center where folks can come in, gather resources, get information about other services that are directly connected with the community, get case management services, counseling services, or even just kick back and read a book and use our computer lab or whatever might be needed so that they feel safe and feel that they're in a place where they can be their authentic self.
I wanted to talk a little bit specifically about how this pandemic is affecting LGBTQ youth and how it's putting them more at risk.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is that oftentimes they're not out to their families. Talking about our youth as young as, 12 years old that we've heard from, as and then younger adults as well, who really can't be their authentic self at home. The other thing that we're encountering quite a bit with our community, especially our transgender community, our Black and African American community, and our Latinx communities, is issues of homelessness. Mm-hmm. People who either were living in dorms because they were at the university and can't go back home because they're not accepted for who they are now finding themselves homeless. Folks who, didn't have shelter and secure housing before the pandemic, but are even finding themselves in even more of dire straits because of what's going on, the lack of resources, or the resources that we do have are at capacity here in our city. So for the most part, I can say that a lot of folks are experiencing issues of being unsafe, not being able to be authentic, and really not knowing kind of what the next step is for them in terms of, how long is this pandemic going to last? How long are they going to be sheltered in place with people who don't accept them? One of the things that we did with the center is that we recognized some of the things that were going on, and we immediately launched an LGBTQ emergency fund that directly is given to our community, back to our community, so that they could pay the things that they need, and kind of that offering a gap in what the services that they might be lacking.
Right.
Again, rent and food and things like that. With our particular center, we are largely funded by community members from donations. They're $5, $10, $20 a month donations. And people unfortunately don't have that right now. So, we've seen donations drop off. But what we've seen as well is that when we launched our emergency fund, specifically for COVID-related issues, we saw our community step up. Our community is so resilient that, even if it was $5 or $10, they gave what they could because they know that other people might be in worse off situations than they are. And to me, that speaks tremendously about our community, that we're there for one another. We're there to help when we need to. We rally together and be that resilient individual and resilient group and resilient everything that we know that history has shown us that our trans brothers and sisters, our trans siblings, and our LGBTQ as a whole folks are just resilient, and we're stepping into that during this pandemic.
Well, I'm hoping that in that spirit, people are going to step up and give back to the centers tonight, because I think all of us can think of a time when the centers have been there for us. So now it's our turn to be there for the centers. And I hope and pray that we are able to raise enough money tonight to help you and centers around the country just like yours. Thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing before this crisis, during the crisis, and God willing afterwards.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Gracias, Robert.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's Barbara Streisand, And I am so thrilled that GLAAD's Together in Pride, You Are Not Alone event is happening tonight to raise much needed funds to support local LGBTQ community centers all over the country who are being seriously affected by COVID-19. If these community centers have to close their doors, that means that LGBTQ kids may not have a meal. It means they may not have a place to go. And it also means they won't have the support that so many of these facilities need to help them find a job and be successful. I know that times are tough, but I really hope you will help save these organizations by clicking the donate button below and give what you can. Every bit helps. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to be back. I want to send a big thank you to everyone out there who is donating tonight. Your local centers need your help to help others. We are going to hear more from the local LGBTQ community centers. But now I could not be more proud and thrilled to introduce someone who is a true pioneer when it comes to visibility for LGBTQ people. Especially today on Lesbian Visibility Day. She is a Grammy and GLAAD award-winning singer and songwriter. She's a dear friend and she's a rock star when it comes to being a true activist. Please welcome Melissa Etheridge.
Thank you, Sarah Kate, my friend. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello, all you brothers and sisters and everyone in between. I sending love out to all of you. Here's a song that I wrote about 4 years ago, following our tragedy in Orlando, talking about how everybody has a heartbeat, everybody has a pulse. Let's remember that these times. Everybody's got a pain inside, imaginary wounds they fight to hide. How can I hate them when everybody's got a pulse? I dream in a world that wants my soul, that tells me if I hate, I can control. But I don't believe it, I cannot conceive it, 'cause everybody's got a pulse. I am human, I am love, and my heart beats in my blood. Love will always win underneath the skin. Everybody's got a pulse. Once again I hang my head to cry, 'cause I can't find the reason why they died. We will find the answer blowing in the wind, that everybody's got a pulse. I am human, I am love, and my heart beats in my blood. Love will always win underneath the skin. Everybody's got a pulse. Who you gonna hate now when there's no one left but you? Who you gonna gun down when you can't kill the truth that is inside of us? It's inside our blood, it's inside our pulse. I am human, I am love, and my heart beats in my blood. Love will always win underneath the skin. Everybody's got a pulse. Yeah. I am human, I am love, and my heart beats in my blood. Love will always win
underneath the skin. Everybody's got a pulse. I am human, I am love, and my heart beats in my blood. Love will always win underneath the skin. Everybody's got a pulse. Underneath the skin, everybody's got a pulse.
Greetings, salutations, and hallelujah. I'm thrilled to be here to support GLAAD and Centerlink in this great, fabulous event. As you see, I'm here coming to you live from my granny's house somewhere in, the fabulous, illustrious Paris, Texas, rocking this red, tinted animal print. I'm a tiger queen, Carol Baskin, Listen, I'm stopping through to let you guys know that your donations are so important. And I wanted to give you a little breakdown of how they're going to help. All right, let's do this. $5 will help fund a bus pass for youth to get to their local youth peer group meeting. All right, so that's important. $10, only 10 now. $10 will help to fund a Know Your Rights LGBTQ legal clinic for LGBTQ advocacy, all right? $25, okay, get into this. $25 will give not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 movie passes to movie night for a youth to go to the local, LGBTQ youth center and see a movie. Some of y'all may have wrote the movie. Some of y'all might be in the movie. Some of y'all just like movies. So helping youth to see that, okay? $50 will provide scholarships for 2 LGBTQ seniors for a creative writing workshop. That's right, creative writing workshop. $100, okay? Just a little $100. $100. It will provide shelf-stable food items for the local LGBTQ youth food banks. And $250, oh yes, $250 will provide towels and linens for a whole month at one of the local LGBTQ housing programs. With your donations, we're going to continue to empower and nurture LGBTQ people around the world. All right? Thank you for giving, because it definitely means something. It really does. And thank you. Hallelujah.
Hey guys, before we move on, I just want to say thank you to all of our media partners for sharing these messages with your followers, especially all of our LGBTQ media outlets. Thank you very much. Okay, I am so excited for our next guest. He's a pal of mine. You know him from any number of hit TV shows, American Horror Story and White Collar and The Normal Heart. And he just wrapped a very critically acclaimed season of the show The Sinner. He's also going to be starring in Netflix's The Boys in the Band. And he's mostly known for introducing me to my personal trainer. So please welcome the hideous Matt Bomer. How are you, Matthew?
Lily, how are you? It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And how is your pandemic so far?
It's a mixed bag day by day. Thankfully, our kids have been pretty amazing. It's definitely a period of adjustment, I feel, for parents all around the world right now and their kids, both between academic needs and emotional needs. But it's been great. Yes. Really nothing to complain about.
I have some questions for you. We are friends. You did introduce me to my trainer, although, to no avail. We'd work with you. Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. But we've never really talked about this. When did you come out of the closet publicly?
I believe it was in 2011.
And that was pretty early. I mean, that predates this whole sort of movement of, you know, inclusion in terms of LGBT actors. I mean, yes, a handful had come out over the years, but your coming out really predated that. And I always wondered, I thought that was it sounds like a cliche, but, you know, you could have stayed in the closet, and I don't think the public would have questioned it. And I wonder what led to you taking that very brave and I think necessary step to come out publicly before that was, you know, the acceptable thing to do in the eyes of old straight Hollywood types.
Yeah, I mean, look, even though it was maybe earlier than a lot of the movement you're talking about, I still had incredible role models, and Ellen DeGeneres and Neil Patrick Harris and other people who'd come before me. And it was a risky thing to do. At the time, Magic Mike was about to come out, so I had a role in a big studio movie that was largely built on sex appeal, and I was a romantic lead on television.
Right.
So, but to me, I had to weigh out my personal life, which was the fact that I was soon to be a husband. We had 3 children, and being able to look them in the eye with love and sincerity and truth and honesty was ultimately more important to me than whatever that was going to cost my career.
You grew up in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
Right now in Texas, there are 14 LGBTQ community centers. They provide meals, medication, and for young people who don't have a place to go, they often find support and community in these places, and that's why we're raising money for Centerlink today. Tell us about your experience growing up there and the importance of keeping those centers alive.
I was actually just talking to Thrive Youth Center in San Antonio, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. I've really lost any sense of time. Trying to help them out with a fundraiser. And, you know, this is a time when we have to be home. And the sad reality is, for a lot of members of the LGBTQIA+ community, home is not a safe place. So like you said, they rely on these centers for medication, for community, for support, for food. And if they shut their doors at this time, there are going to be a lot of members of our community who are in dire straits, who really need help. So we all need to chip in and donate and help out and do what we can.
Very well said, and so important. And again, that's why we're here. Please donate. You have been involved in a lot of social action while you've been sheltering at home. So what are the things that you've been doing to try to help, even though we're isolated, that you can suggest we all do? Is there anything in particular that comes to mind?
Oh, goodness. I've been trying to respond to people who reached out to me, like Thrive Youth Center in San Antonio, or even bigger events, obviously, like what Gaga put together with Global Citizen and Together at Home. And there's a great organization called Donors Choose. You know, a lot of people who are homeschooling right now don't have the basic supplies they need to be able to do it.
That's right.
Especially school systems who are serving lower income communities. These kids don't have what they need to continue learning. So it's a great organization to look to and help out with for kids all around the country to be able to stay in school and continue to learn.
Matt Bomer, I adore you. You are one of the most delightful, decent people in Hollywood that I know. Thank you so much for being here. Love and regards to your many children and Simon, and please stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you so much for being a part of this.
I love you, Billy Eichner, and thank you to GLAAD and Centerlink for all you're doing.
Hi everyone, it's August Getty from August Getty Atelier. I hope everybody is doing well. LGBTQ centers have been at the heart of our community for so long, offering shelter, medication, food, a sense of community. And because of this pandemic, millions of the LGBTQ community have lost something that they relied on. So please, Centerlink offers help to over 250 LGBT centers around the world. And just remember, you're not alone. I love you so much. Stay safe and be kind and be you.
All right. The party continues with someone who is a mainstay of the New York theater world. He is not only an openly LGBTQIA actor, but he is one of the few out and visible and vocal HIV activists within the LGBTQIA world of entertainment and beyond. Please welcome, yes, he also starred in Hamilton on Broadway. We're going to get to that, among many other things. Please welcome Javier Muñoz. Hello, how are you?
Hi. That was the best introduction ever. Thank you.
Was it? Okay, good. It's all downhill from here, I assure you. So one of the things I admire so much about you is that we've seen a wave in the past few years of openly LGBTQIA actors and actresses and pop stars, but there are still very few people in the public eye who are open about their HIV status and such a visible presence the way you have. And I know so many HIV positive people in my life, but they haven't had many role models. They haven't had many people to look to on TV or on social media to say, yes, you know, it sounds like a cliche, but to feel seen is important. So I so much admire that about you. How has COVID affected the HIV positive population specifically?
I mean, I can only speak from my own experience and like you, those that I know personally, it's kind of a double-sided thing here. There's sort of the fear of God, you know, that's placed in us because you say pre-existing conditions and the severity of that vulnerability. And so I think immediately we really got terrified at the idea of the potential this new virus could wreak on our bodies, right? Our susceptibility. But the other side of that is anyone who's living with HIV has been through this process. Not the exact process, but the process of a virus in your body that you need medication for, that you have to go through a transition. And I know this is sort of an extreme way to say it, but having experienced living with HIV, there's a little less fear. There's a little more courage. There's a little more experience behind this that says, I'm still here after all that. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so we can be okay. You know, and I think that's a strength. I think that's a power. I think that's a unique and a sort of wonderful position for people living with HIV to have. Not to make less of what someone would go through with COVID, but to say, you can survive this. Should it happen? And it also, I think, inspires me personally to want to help, right? To know the ways that I can make a difference and to then rise to that occasion however I can. And I find a lot of my peers who are also living with HIV are doing the same. You know, it instills a sort of resilience and a courage. And I think that's what we need right now, right?
Absolutely. And that is so beautifully put. And I'm so happy you're here to speak to that specific community, such a huge part of our community, you know, people who have been living with HIV, whether it's been a recent thing or they've been living with it for decades. Because again, if we're not going to talk, no one else is talking about this. Like, there have been a million live streaming fundraisers and everything is worthwhile and necessary, but I don't see anyone talking about this. So thank you for being here and speaking to that so eloquently. Javier, thank you so much. Don't tell Lin-Manuel this. You were my favorite Hamilton of those who played the role. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking so eloquently. And please, everyone, remember to donate. There's a link on screen right now. Give whatever you can give. Let's also send our love to theater people all over the country, not just in New York City, who are struggling right now. We love them, we need them, and I hope to see you on stage very soon.
Thank you so much for this. This was awesome. Thank you. You're
so welcome. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Oh, what, this whole thing? I just threw this on instead of lying around. It is so good to be connected with everyone tonight. I'm feeling the pride, the joy, the love, and it is so important to focus on the way the pandemic affects the LGBTQ plus community. And we're raising big bucks for Centerlink and queer community organizations. So please make that donation. The button is on the screen. Do it now. But hold up, everybody, you take a seat. If you're standing, you take a seat because this is a big moment. We're about to hang out with a totally inspiring queer couple, huge supporters of GLAAD and the LA LGBT Center. You've seen them all over social media. You must have, or you're living under a rock. Actually, Gigi is one of the most followed transgendered women on social media and published her memoir last year. And Nats runs a fashion line, Strike Oil, that is now making masks for the community. So happy to be talking with you. Welcome, Gigi and Nats. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. Virtual hug.
Virtual hug. Thank you so much. Let's dive straight into this because I have a million things I want to talk about. But first and foremost, you had a beautiful wedding last year, and I loved seeing the coverage of the wedding. I mean, with a trans bride and a lesbian bride, it was everything I love. Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Everything and more, I think.
Yeah, it was a pretty magical day. Like, I would honestly do it again and again and again every single year. Just having everyone together, sharing our story, like solidifying our love. It was very magical.
We're all here to support GLAAD and support the community centers that help so many people in the queer community. Tell me a little bit about the support you had growing up, you know, the kind of support you received from your families or from community centers.
My family was always really, really supportive. I was so blessed in that way.
I already seen your whole documentary. I was at the screening. I know the whole story. But for everybody else that might not know.
I'm like, yeah, Lily, like, we don't know each other for sure. Yeah, this is my sick sister over here. Yeah. I was so blessed growing up. My mom and my dad were always a huge supporter in my life with my YouTube channel and wearing makeup before I transitioned. And, you know, through my transition, my brothers, my dad was so fabulous, and I was so lucky with that. But I think I got my real support through YouTube, you know, like everyone's comments, everyone's like the sense of community was something that I think is inexplainable from real life. So being online and being like, oh my God, you happen to be transgender as well, or we're going through the transition at the same time. That is unspeakable. Like, that kind of connection, you can't fake that. And that was when YouTube was first starting. So I would say turn to online, especially right now. If anyone's watching and anyone is going through a hard time thinking that they're alone or they can't relate with anyone, there's always going to be a community for you online.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Strike Oil, because we know it's a dope fashion line. We also know that you're sending me free stuff. That's so crazy that just happened right now. But you're also pivoting to make masks. So tell me a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, this is one of the masks that I made that I actually was like selling on my website, but it was 100% donation. Like, every dollar we made from like selling these went to the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. So what I've been doing is every week I've been having my sewers make like over 100 masks that we've been like donating to hospitals. Last week it was the LGBT Center in Hollywood, and then tomorrow I'm actually going to a hospital downtown. And it's really dope because I'm able to like continue to employ my sample sewers and give them something to do. So like, we have stopped like full production of everything, and the only thing we're making right now is like these and these. These are like fashion masks, are for people at home, and then these ones are the ones that get donated.
Do you have any last remaining thoughts, words of love or light to anyone at home, whether they're in the queer community or not? I think it's a challenging time for everyone, specifically people in our community. So any final thoughts of love?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, GLAAD,
Yeah.
Sarah Kate, Lily, you know this, Billy. This is going to touch so many people, and we more than anybody know that regardless if it touches one person or millions of people, it is so worth it.
Absolutely. And on that note, when this is all done and we're all missing connection, we're gonna hang out and we're gonna
please
celebrate togetherness. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone watching at home, don't forget, if you are able to, please donate. The button is on the screen. You can donate. It's gonna go a very long way. Thanks so much.
There are times I find it hard to sleep at night. We are living through such troubled times, and every child that reaches out for someone to hold, for one moment they become my own. But how can I pretend that I don't know what's going on when every second of every minute another soul is gone? And I believe that in my life I will see that end to hopelessness and giving up and suffering. If we all stand together this one time, then no one will get left behind. Stand up for life. Stand up and hear me sing. Stand up for life. I'm inspired and hopeful each and every day. That's how I know that things are gonna change. But how can I pretend that I don't know what's going on when every second of every minute another soul is gone? And I believe that in my life I will see an end to hopelessness or giving up or suffering. If we all stand together this one time, then no one will get left behind. Stand up for life. Stand up for love. Hey, and it all starts right here. And it starts right now. One person stands up ahead, and the rest will follow. For all the forgotten, for all the alone, I'm gonna sing the song. And I believe that in my life I will see an end to hopelessness or giving up or suffering. If we all stand together this one time, then no one will get left behind. Stand up for life. Stand up and hear me sing. Stand up for love. Ooh, for love.
Hey everyone, it's Anthony Ramos from GLAAD here. I want to send a big thank you to everyone out there donating tonight to support Centerlink and the amazing work that they're doing for LGBTQ people all over this country. You know, at times like this, we definitely do need to stand together. I do want to take a moment to shout out one of tonight's sponsors, Hulu. Not only did Hulu support our cause this evening, they actually also sent in an exclusive new clip from one of their upcoming shows called Love, Victor. So in the same world as Love, Simon, which won the GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Film Wide Release, this story picks up with Victor, a young kid at Creekwood High, as he's navigating his journey through life and his sexuality. So I'm really excited for you all to get to look at this clip.
Excuse me? Hey man, what's up? It's Benji from school. I just wanted to interview for the barista job, but it's cool. Lucky for you, I'm the assistant manager. Come on back, let's talk. So, Victor, you had any experience making coffee?
I have experience drinking coffee.
Well, it's not rocket science. You know, once you can pull a shot of espresso, you can basically make any drink. Here, watch. First, you take the porta filter and fill it with grounds. And then pack it real tight. See how tight that is? Mm-hmm. And while that brews, we steam the milk. Now, you try. Here. There you go. You're a natural. I am so sorry. It's fine. You know what? This is a bad idea. I'm sorry to waste your time.
Hey everyone, it's Patrick Starrr. I can't tell you how happy I am to see that so many of you are donating tonight, which will enable GLAAD to help so many of the LGBTQ community centers all over the country who are really struggling. I myself have partnered with centers like My Friend's Place, who help young homeless individuals between the ages of 12 to 25 with meals, clothing, and emergency supplies. I know firsthand that the work that these centers are doing is literally saving LGBTQ people's lives. So click that donate now button and please give what you can. A little goes a long way.
Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness. I am here with one of my best besties. It's Ross Mathews. And it's so weird, Ross, for me to see you like this because every time I FaceTime you, you're either at a bar or playing trivia night.
You know me, I like to be out and about. I'm an every hour is happy hour kind of guy. I love to go out and, play my trivia, play my darts in Palm Springs. I like being out with the people. I miss a good old-fashioned drag show, Michelle. All those queens, too, that have been in the clubs. How about all the servers, all the bar backs? All those people. I almost said bareback. I almost did. You heard me. You heard it. You heard that happen. No, bar back. All the people that are behind the scenes in all these clubs. And I love that GLAAD is working now to raise money, and we're going to be helping all these people out because think about it, they can't go to work right now, Michelle.
I've been thinking about that from day one. I talked to a lot of the girls and luckily we have an online community that's very helpful and we've been able to do things like perform online, etc. But it's not the same as being in a club every single night. They rely not just on tips and on gigs, but also the closeness of sisters and friends, people in the bar. Our community, especially in the drag world and in the bar world, is very cheersy in a way. You walk in and everybody knows your name. They know who you are.
And the people who own these bars as well. These LGBTQ bars are so important to our history and our legacy and our culture. So we got to keep them going and all the people that work in them. So people should donate now, Michelle, right?
Push that button, click what you can. Don't think that any amount is too small because it all is cumulative. It adds up and it helps everybody that these people that are out there doing this. It can help each and every one of them, even just a little bit. But thank you, of course, for being here and watching us and supporting our LGBTQIA+ community nightlife. And of course, every penny that you give will be donated throughout the community, through all different community centers, and it will be going to the right people.
And we'll see you all when this is all over. I love you.
Promise you, we'll see you out there. Ross will see you at trivia night. Love you guys. Love you, Rossi.
Love you, Michelle.
Okay, killing the game. I am loving this night. Make sure you stay informed and connected. You can follow GLAAD on Twitter. That's GLAAD, Instagram and Facebook as well. It feels so good to connect with all of you tonight. This is a reminder that none of us are alone. You are not alone. And speaking of which, I'm so excited to hang with one of our allies right now, LGBTQ+ ally. And I'm gonna give this intro its due justice right here. Won an Emmy for playing like 900 clones on Orphan Black. The show was nominated for multiple GLAAD Media Awards, and a fan favorite clone was bisexual Cosima. I can't wait to see her in a new HBO series, Perry Mason. Please give it up in your homes for Tatiana Maslany. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
Did I do justice? I took a deep breath. I tried. I was like, God, you did it. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for being here. I have so many things I want to ask you because I think it's so incredible the way you use your voice as an ally to support the LGBTQ+ community. But I want to ask, what's behind that? Why do you think that's so important? Was it that you had a friend or a family member growing up that kind of had an impact on you, or what's the story?
For me, the LGBTQ community has always been my community, has always been the people who I'm most drawn to, who I love the most, who the musicians and artists that I'm inspired by are all, you know, from the LGBTQ community. So there's just no end to the way I'm connected to that community, but also I deeply feel the impact of so much adversity and all of that the community faces, and I see that injustice and I feel that injustice, and I can't imagine not being an ally.
Follow-up question, can we clone you in real life? Because we need more of that mindset. You are so deeply connected with the community because of your amazing work on Orphan Black. Tell me, how does it feel to be part of something that helped so many people that might have been struggling with their sexuality and with their identity?
I think what Orphan Black really taught me was how much representation matters, and how much witnessing someone who you relate to and who you can reflect back on your own experience, how much that means to someone to be witnessed like that. You know, I feel very protective of the idea of community, and I think that's why what GLAAD is doing is so important.
To your LGBTQ plus fans who kind of rely on those resources, do you have a message for them or anything you can say to them?
Just that you're not alone, and you know, your allies are loving you and seeing you and witnessing you on social media or whatever it is. Like, we see you and we love you, and we hear you, and our hearts are with you. And anything that anyone can do who has the privilege of having some money, some liquid funds right now, or is able to scrape something together to give back to this community, please do.
Absolutely, and we made it easy for you because there's a donate button on screen that you can click. Technology. We made it so easy. Do it. It's, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere here. Wherever it is, click it. It's right there.
Now we are going to head over to Phoenix, Arizona to chat with one of the representatives from the youth centers we are looking to support tonight. Nate Roten is the executive director of the 1 in 10 Youth Center. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Tyler. How are you?
I am doing well. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, tell me about how this entire COVID-19 situation has affected the important work at the center.
You know, like many youth centers, LGBTQ youth centers across the country, 1 in 10 provides a really comprehensive network of services, and much of that relies on in-person service offerings. Things like providing housing and food and clothing, as well as support groups and things of that sort that allow the youth to really help one another. We had to pivot really quickly and take everything online, and I'm really proud of our team for being able to do that and continue to serve our youth, because there's many LGBTQ youth across this country that are feeling really alone right now, and they need those support groups now more than ever.
What are some of the things that you were doing before for these LGBTQ plus youth that because of the pandemic, you're no longer able to provide?
We have a youth center in downtown Phoenix. We offer food and meal services there. We're a hydration station for City of Phoenix, which is going to be very important this summer, where we pass out bottles of water. Also, basic medical care. We have a partnership with a local children's hospital that provides free medical care every Tuesday. We have free dental care. It's a gamut of services that, frankly, are truly life-saving for our youth that right now we're not able to offer.
Now, LGBTQ plus youth, for many reasons, are high risk across the country. What are some of the specific risks that the pandemic is bringing to these LGBTQ plus youth?
For many LGBTQ folks, we experience higher rates of unemployment than our straight counterparts. In fact, 2 to 3 times that. And then when you look at our trans and gender non-conforming communities, their rates of unemployment are 4 to 5 times that. We have a lot of young people that are out of a job. And so to add on top of the anxiety and fear of this situation, they no longer have an income. So it's become really important to ensure that they have those basic needs, but also somewhere to turn for support and navigation of those services.
Especially because I feel like so many of our straight counterparts are able to rely on friends and family. A lot of LGBTQ plus people don't necessarily have those things to fall back on.
Exactly, and we may have many youth that come from very supportive households, but we definitely still have youth that live in households that they are not out to their parents. They are not called by the pronouns that they go by, in some cases even their preferred names. And so for those youth, not only are they all alone, but they're really alone right now, where they can't turn to someone that sees them for who they are.
Are there ways that you would encourage the people at home to get involved tonight?
Absolutely. Centerlink is a national organization of LGBTQ centers, and the work that Centerlink does for all of us centers across this country is truly a game changer, particularly in a time like this. Every dollar that's donated tonight will go to Centerlink, and Centerlink is then taking that money and spreading it out across our country to all of their member agencies, helping 1 in 10 and centers like it remain open and serve our youth and answer that phone call when a young person reaches out for help.
Young queer people need us to step up and give and help in whatever way we can.
Exactly. Here in Phoenix, we're saying we're going to rise like a phoenix and be stronger and better after this, but we truly need your support tonight to make sure that that can happen.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Michael Smith. I'm from 911 Lone Star and the L-Word Generation Q, and I'm so excited to be here for Together in Pride by GLAAD. I think this is a great opportunity for us to come together. I'm here with Dr. Darian Sutton, because right now, as we know, COVID-19 is hitting communities of color especially hard. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Darian Sutton.
Hi, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm holding up. But yeah, we're actively working here in New York to treat all the patients that we can with the COVID-19 virus. I feel like I've gone through a roller coaster of emotion and patient volumes. When we first started, we had really, really high patient volumes, and now we're kind of stabilizing. So I think it's a good time. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and just your practice and kind of things leading up until we got to this point in the crisis?
So I'm an emergency medicine physician. I'm an attending physician. So that means that I finished medical school and residency, and I practice mainly in Queens. And the reason why I say that is because Queens has the highest amount of cases for many different reasons. Number one, it houses 2 international airports, as everyone knows, LaGuardia and JFK. So if you think about dispersion from people traveling to New York, the first place that they go is Queens. And unfortunately, Queens has the least amount of beds per 1,000 patients. So with those two things combined creates really a little bit of mayhem that we had about the past 3 weeks, that we're now starting to tread water and see the surface. Fortunately, people started understanding the importance of social distancing and shelter in place, and we started to see real effects maybe 2 weeks after we started to have leadership kind of educate and give people guidance on what to do.
Something that's interesting, just kind of speaking to you, because you are a frontline healthcare worker, you're a gay man yourself. People might be surprised to know that, after a day in the hospital, you yourself can't even donate blood to help with the nationwide blood shortage. Can you talk about what that experience must be like for you as a doctor, and knowing that people are banned from donating blood from our community?
It is frustrating because I get it from both perspectives. I get it from the perspective of me not being allowed to donate blood. I mean, now they've decreased some restrictions, so therefore, if I want to donate blood, I just must not participate in any sexual encounter for 3 months, which is, it's great for quarantine. But in reality, that's not a realistic ideal that anyone can live up to or should live up to. And so my frustration is that I have willing, healthy people who want to donate blood, and we need to put the pressure on the FDA to release these restrictions so that we can allow our patients to get the things that they need.
And I mean, it's great to hear that people are still fighting for this. I mean, this has been on the books since the 80s, when everybody was very afraid of, bloodborne pathogens like HIV, and they weren't sure, where it was coming from. So they just put this ban, but the ban doesn't make sense anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's one of those archaic things. We're testing all the blood with the same viruses. Why does it matter where it comes from?
And if anybody is interested in petitioning this, you can go to GLAAD.org/blood. You can sign your name to the petition against this particular policy.
This is great. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, I hope so too. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and for the work that you are doing. I commend you and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day and be well.
Hi, it's Bebe Rexha. I miss all of your beautiful faces, and I can't wait to see you guys soon. This is a really tough time for everyone, including many of my dear friends in the LGBTQ community. And we all know it's really important to support our loved ones, but it's becoming harder because of the COVID-19 crisis. A lot of the smaller LGBTQ centers and organizations may have to shut down their doors because of what's happening, and we cannot let that happen. That's why I'm excited to work with GLAAD tonight, and together in Pride, you are not alone. These organizations and centers are literally helping LGBTQ people find housing, jobs, and food. All you have to do is click the donate button on the screen, and you can help out somebody in the LGBTQ community. Please do it. Sending you all my love, and hope to see you soon.
Okay, a very exciting guest coming up. They're all exciting. We all came to know him on American Idol many, many years ago, but that's been many years at this point, and he has an incredible career. We're so happy to have him here. Adam Lambert. Hello, Adam.
Hey.
You have a new album that dropped recently called Velvet. You had to postpone a tour. You were nominated for a GLAAD Media Award this year for Outstanding Music Artist. There's a docu-series on Apple TV. I believe it's called Visible. It takes you through the whole history of LGBTQ people on television and in film to a lesser extent. It's mainly about TV, and I'm so glad because it's the first time, at least I have heard you talk in detail about the experience of coming out of Idol as this on the verge of superstardom and everyone knocked out by your voice. And then your experience on the American Music Awards. And you talked about it in detail where you like kissed a guy for 3 seconds on stage and like the industry went crazy the next day. You had to apologize. Now that wasn't that long ago, relatively speaking, right?
Not really. And that's the thing, like you tell the story to somebody now that might not have heard about it, and they're all shocked, like, what? That right? Really? Yeah, it's a lot has changed in 10 years. A lot.
Yeah, that was 2009, and I watched your interview on this series. You had to navigate so much bullshit. Now that we're coming out, and it's getting easier to be a queer, openly LGBTQ or non-binary pop artist, but you had to deal with shit not everyone had to deal with. So how do you make peace with that? What are your thoughts on that?
It led to certain things in my career that were great. It definitely taught me a lot very quickly. It taught me what my boundaries were publicly.
When you were approached to tour with Queen and sing with them and you know, step into Freddie Mercury's shoes, I mean, no one can really do that, but what was that like when you were approached for that, and how has that experience been?
It's been incredible. I mean, it's like a family with them. I think the thing that I realized very quickly was that if I got up there and tried to imitate Freddie, that would be a bad move. And Brian and Roger from the get-go said to me, look, we want this to be you. We want you to do what you do. Take your own liberties with these songs, interpret them at will.
You have an amazing foundation, and you're partnering up with GLAAD on something very special during this very bizarre, uncertain time, as they say. Tell us about that.
For years now, I do these performances and you wear something on stage and it sits in your closet. And I thought, why don't we do an auction of these stage pieces, these costumes and these fashion items? And so I'm partnering with eBay to launch this online auction. All the proceeds from the auction will go directly to GLAAD, which we're very excited about. I wanted to do something now to raise funds and to give to the community through GLAAD.
That is such an amazing idea. I can only imagine your closet is full of a very eclectic mix. Adam, thank you for being you. And thank you for sludging through a very homophobic music industry, especially when guys like you and I were starting out. Thank you for being here. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good talking to you. Good seeing you.
Hi, this is Kesha from my home. And I just wanted to say hi and send my love to all my friends at GLAAD. And I want to sing you one of my favorite songs I've ever written about seeing a rainbow through a shitstorm. So I hope this finds you well. This one's called Rainbow.
I used to live in the darkness, dress in black, act so heartless, but now I see the colors are everything. Got kaleidoscopes in my hairdo, got back the stars in my eyes too. Yeah, now I see the magic inside of me. Yeah, maybe my head's fucked up, I'm falling back in love with being alive, dreaming in lies. It's getting found a rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and play along with me tonight. I'd forgot how to daydream, so consumed with the wrong things, but in the dark I've realized this life is short, and deep down I'm still a child. Playful eyes wide and wild, I can't lose hope. What's left of my heart still made of gold. I know that I'm still fucked up, but are we all, my love, darling? Our scars make us who we are. When the winds are howling strong and you think you can't go on, hold tight, sweetheart. You'll find a rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. You gotta learn to let go, put the past behind you, trust me, I know. Goals to try to find you, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Night, night, night. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. You'll find a rainbow, rainbow, baby, trust me, I know life is scary, but just put those colors on, girl. You gotta learn to let go, put the past behind you, trust me, I know. Goals to try to find you, but just put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Put those colors on, girl. Come and paint the world with me tonight. Come and paint the world with me tonight.
Okay, last outfit, just in time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. I hope everyone out there believes what we do so deeply in our hearts, and that is you are not alone. We are together in Pride. Now more than ever, June is Pride Month, and it will look a little different this year, but know that you have resources like GLAAD and community centers funded by Centrelink that can help you connect with other people like you, whether it's online or in person. And until the day comes where we can be back out in the streets and in bars and restaurants and stores, showing our pride and sharing our love, we need the community to take extra special caution and care to stay safe during this really difficult, trying time. Stay home if you're being directed to do so. Please wash your hands, wear masks when you are out. If you are immunocompromised, smoker, or a member of an additional high-risk community, or a person of color, please take extra care and look to Centrelink and GLAAD for additional resources and support.
And during these days when our lives are feeling upended, the minute you feel sad or angry or frustrated, my advice is to try to do something about it. Take action. This is an election year, as we all know. It's the most important election maybe in the history of our country. I don't think that's a maybe. I think it is. Go to glad.org/action and make sure you have signed the pledge to vote in November. We want to offer our heartfelt thanks, truly, to all the medical personnel and essential workers out there who are literally saving lives every day and helping us all get through this. And most of all, thank you. We have raised a ton of money for Centrelink tonight, and with LGBTQ services losing so much necessary funding, you're making sure we're able to support those community centers that offer help, medicine, meals, and all kinds of support for LGBTQ people. So with that, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay strong, stay together, stay proud, and know
you are not alone.
You are not alone. Bye.
I would dial numbers just to listen to your breath. I would stand inside my hell and hold the hand of death. You don't know how far I'd go ease this precious ache. And you don't know how much I'd give or how much I can take just to reach you, just to reach you, oh, to reach you, oh. Come to my window, crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. Keeping my eyes open, I cannot afford to sleep. Giving away promises I know I can't keep. Nothing fills the blackness that has seeped into my chest. I need you in my blood. I am forsaking all the rest just to reach you, just to reach you. Oh, to reach you. Oh, come to my window. Oh, crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. Oh yeah, come on, sing with me. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. What do they know about this love? Oh, come to my window. I'll be home. I'll be home where we're all home, so stay right there. Come to my window. Yeah. Crawl inside. Wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. I'll be home soon. I'll be home. Sing it with me, people. Sing it with me. Here we go. Come to my window. Yeah. Crawl inside. Wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. I'll be home soon. That's right. Someday we'll get to leave our homes very soon.